Hey guys, HackerSploit here, back again with another video. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to fully utilize SearchSploit for finding exploits. Now, before we get started, I just want to bring a few things to you guys' attention in regards to the flow of the channel and how everything is going to be now. As you guys have brought up severally or many times, there is a small issue with the question asking system on the website. So I've the layout of the website, so you can check it out for yourself. The website is going to be like almost the handbook to the channel. So in essence, every video will have its own post on the website, kind of explaining it if that's the type of content you're used to consuming. All right, so the website will have all the other resources from the channel, and you can find any of the other PDF files, different exploits on the channel. Now, of course, I also created it so that you guys can ask questions, and I also have a forum section, so you can also post your video suggestions over there, which I recommend because then I can track them as and when you guys have posted them, so that all of you who want a video made, I can, then follow up on that. Okay. The second thing that I wanted to bring to you guys' attention is a lot of you have been talking about the upload schedule and uploads in regards to the consistency. Now, I've been thinking about this a lot, and I do agree that daily uploads is something that I need to be doing now. The only issue that I've been having with daily uploads is creating a video and editing it and then publishing it usually takes me about an hour to an hour 30 minutes. Now, that's something that I cannot dedicate every day. However, I thought of a great solution to this. The days that I do have enough time or I have a free day, on those days, I will be recording all the videos I possibly can, and then having that lined up for the week, for the following week. And of course, on the weekends, I'll also be uploading, as I do have that time to actually record a video and publish it on the channel. So, yes, you will be excited to know now that we are going to be having daily uploads. Now, of course, I'll try and upload as many as I can in one day, so that, the rest of the days can all have a video on their own. So if you want your video suggestion made, or you want me to make a video in regards to your suggestion, post it on the channel so I can have a track of it and I don't get mixed up with another person's suggestion. That being said, I know that was a lot to talk about, but welcome. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to fully utilize SearchSploit for finding exploits. Now, you might be wondering to yourself, well, why am I making this video? Well, again, it was something that one of you brought up, and you simply wanted to know why it's important and why a penetration tester should know how to use it. Now, personally, I never visit the ExploitDB website, and the reason I don't visit the website itself is because it's really a tedious process searching for exploits and then clicking on the captcha button, for it to verify my identity or my IP, whatever it's trying to do. Usually that takes a lot of time. Now, when you're a pen tester, you really need to be efficient with how you do things in regards to your methodology. Now, with SearchSploit, you might be asking yourself, for those of you who have never heard of it, it's unlikely, but if you haven't, SearchSploit is essentially a command line search and query tool for ExploitDB. Now, it comes pre-installed in Kali Linux and any other penetration testing distribution. It is pretty much a must-have because of how awesome it is, and I'll explain as we move along. Okay, so as I mentioned, it is a command line search and query tool that allows you to search for any exploits locally. Now, when I say locally, what do I mean? A lot of people get confused, and they've been asking, well, how does it get the database? Well, the great thing is that the host operating system actually stores a copy of the entire exploit database locally. So that means you can also use or access the exploit database and any exploits on it offline, which is fantastic for those of you who do not have internet, a steady connection or a steady internet connection, and you want to go through exploits and you're performing tests. This is fantastic. And as I mentioned, all professional penetration testers that I know, at least, not one of them actually uses the ExploitDB website. It's all done through SearchSploit. Now, as I've mentioned, it's on every penetration testing distribution. All right, and the command is very simple. However, you can find it by browsing to the directory. If I just list all files here, it's in the user share exploit db database. If I just list what's inside over here, sorry, user share exploit db. Yeah, I'll get to that in a second. That's actually the directory of the exploits. But coming back, if I just go, yeah, well, I'm not actually browsing to that directory. So what I was trying to say is, to access the command, you just type in SearchSploit, and once you hit enter, it's going to give you the help menu right over here. So you have the usage, and it'll give you examples over here, and we'll go through the most important ones. Usually just searching for the term, your first term. Again, for those of you in my bash scripting series, this is an example of a positional parameter, something that I talked about. A lot of scripts actually utilize this. So when we talk about the different commands in SearchSploit, you can use SearchSploit and just hit enter, and that'll give you the help menu, or you can use the SearchSploit H command, which is again the help menu, and it'll simply just display the help menu again. So you can go through this for yourself. Now I'm going to be demonstrating the most important one. Sorry about that. So when we talk about SearchSploit, as I've mentioned, it is a database of all the exploits on the exploit database. So for those of you keen enough, you might be wondering, well, how do I keep it updated if it's storing them offline? Well, that's the great thing, is you should always be checking or updating your SearchSploit or your exploit DB database locally. I would say about every 1 week, just to make sure you're up to date with all the latest exploits. All right, so to update your database, all you need to type is SearchSploit and the U command. All right, and the U command will essentially update. As you can see, it's going to tell you that it's updating via the aptitude package management system, and there you are, expect weekly-ish updates. So you won't be getting the only time maybe you want to update is when there are a string of good exploits that are available. So by typing the SearchSploit U command, that will essentially update the database, and I've already kept mine up to date, so it really didn't need to update anything. And this is up to the latest version, as we do have on exploit DB. Alright, so searching with SearchSploit is extremely easy, and I'll just demonstrate this for you. So let's say I was looking for an exploit, as many of you have pointed. A lot of you have been contacting me about OpenSSH exploits. So usually you can search, you can perform a basic search where you type in SearchSploit, and then as the first positional parameter you specify the software version, the software name, or the service name, or the version. And it's recommended that you do use more than one positional parameter or more than one arguments. So let's say I say open SSH and I just hit enter. You can see that it's going to display every exploit available for OpenSSH. Now, of course, I can say, you know what, I'm interested in, let's see, a specific one like 7.2p1. I can also, if I was searching for, let's say I had enumerated the software version, I can essentially just type in OpenSSH 7.2. So for again, you'll see just now what I mean when I talk about stringing queries, or using different strings to give you a much enhanced results. All right, so I just typed in SearchSploit OpenSSH 7.2, and again it's going to display all the results in regards to what we typed in. Now that is a simple search. That's what I would recommend that you use. But now if you're talking about moving to platform specific, where you want to specify the title of the exploit, and you want that to stay as the primary search parameter, then what you need to do is you need to use the T command. All right, and these are pretty much both of the most important ones. So I'll say, for example, SearchSploit, and I'll say T, and now let's say I'm looking for, let's see, I'm looking for, let's see, like a Windows-based exploit, which I know it will display a lot, but let's see if I type Windows 10. All right, now, when I've typed in Windows 10, you can see something very interesting has happened is, in this case, it's going to display Windows 10 exploits, no doubt about that, but it's going to be focusing on the title of the exploits. Now, the title is usually sorted until the hyphen right over here. So it's not really focused on the description. You're now focusing on Windows only exploits. And as you can see, it's displayed all the Windows exploits, and as we specified, Windows 10. But that's still going to be in the title. Now, Windows, if you want to specify, if you want to get a much better results in regards to the search query that we just tried. So what I would use now is the simple basic search. So I would say Windows 10, and you'll see the difference in results now. Now you can see what results we were able to get. Now when you try and string, what it's going to look for is it's going to look for, again, it's going to display all the Windows 10 strings, all the Windows 10 exploits, but it's not going to keep them limited to Windows only, because you've sort of spread out the strings. All right. So if you're searching for title based exploits, then use the title, as that will give you a much better it'll give you a much better response to your search queries, especially if you're looking for, very, very rare type of service exploits. I can't really name any right now, but they're pretty, you can, I'm guessing you can find many examples of where you need to do this, especially when performing, CTF challenges, whether you're doing them on VulnerHub or Hack the Box. Alright, so yeah, that's pretty much going to be it for this video. I just wanted to explain all of this. Now, before I actually exit, for those of you curious as to where the directory of exploits are, I already talked about it, or already displayed it. I should have gone to it first, but I just remembered that it's better I explain how to use it first before I end the video, because many of you will be asking about that. So sorry about that. I was about to end it there. So let's say I search for I use SearchSploit and I wanted to find an OpenSSH Open SSH 7.1 exploit, and I just type for some reason that is not working. We can just search for an OpenSSH 7. Here, there we are. There isn't a version 7.1 exploit. So let's say I'm focused on, I want to use the we can go for this one right over here. I want to use this exploit. Well, how do I actually get this exploit file, which is the 39569.python file? How do I actually copy that to any working directory? Well, it's really very simple. All I need to do is I just need to copy the exploit from its home directory to any directory I want. In this case, I'm just going to be copying it to my desktop. All right. So I'll specify the location of this exploit, which will give you the path right over here. So user share exploit DB, and then you follow along with the path right over here. So we can say user share exploit DB, like so, exploit DB, and we now specify the platform, or actually the modules. So exploits, and we then go over there. So exploits, and we multiple. The next area is multiple and remote. And of course you can copy that if you want to. And I just type in the name of the exploit. So 39569. So 39569.python, and the directory, pretty much standard copying. So the directory that I want to copy it to, I'm just going to copy it to my desktop. And yeah, I'm just going to hit enter, and there you are. So pretty much what's happened right now is I've just copied that exploit to my desktop, so I can now use it without clicking on download. I already have it on my system ready to go. So you can see how useful a tool like SearchSploit can be in a penetration test, because you can easily just, you can manipulate, you can download. You don't really need to download. You have all the exploits locally. So if I just list if I was just to list all the files on my desktop right now, you'll see that the Python file that we copied is right over there, the 7.2p1 exploit. So you can open it up with any editor you want. Of course, you need to make sure you know how to make changes or compile your exploits. If it is a C exploit, you need to know how to compile it, and that's something I'll be covering in the next set of videos. So yeah, I can simply just edit this. So you can use nano here, and 39569 and Python file, hit enter, and there you are. That is the exploit. So you can go ahead and look at it and do the standard stuff you would do before you actually launch an exploit. All right. So if there. Finally, once again, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I know this video doesn't have the most important information, but it's just something that I wanted to have out there in case anyone needed it. So yeah, if you found value in this video, please leave a like down below. If you have any questions or suggestions, let me know in the comment section, on my social networks, and on my website, and I'll be seeing you in the next video. Peace.